And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the Jason Kidd episode. The 6'4", 205-pound point guard is a one-time champ, zero-time MVP. He's a 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, playing 19 years in the league after being the number 2 overall pick, and he is a Hall of Famer. With career averages of 12, 6, and 8 on 40% shooting from the floor. And now I will kick to Uncle Doug, who has him ranked the lowest of any of us, or I guess the highest, I guess is the best way to put that. The highest of any of us, at number 37 overall and number 7 on his point guard list. Uncle Doug?
Yeah, Jason Kidd was a very solid point guard. You said 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, 9 times All-Defense, Rookie of the Year, 5-time assist champ. He peaked out at 18.7 for points, 8.2 rebounds, 10.8 assists, 2.4 steals. He came in 89th on the scoring list, 65th on the rebound list, which is pretty good for a point guard. He was a very good rebounding point guard. He is second. Number 2 on the assist list and 2 on the steal list. Jason peaked out at 2 on MVP. In 01-02, he was second to Tim Duncan. Finished ahead of Shaq that year. We can talk about those numbers later. His other next best finish was 5th in 98-99. And I do have him 7th. I have him 1 spot behind Chris Paul and 2 spots behind John Stockton, who's our topic for next week.
Indeed.
So that's my opening.
All right. Well, that will lead us to Drew, who has him 36 overall, only 1 spot up from Uncle Doug, and 6 on his point guard list.
Well, I think Jason Kidd's just your typical point guard mold. I think he scores when he has to, and then he does all the assists like normal point guards, but I think he rebounds more than a normal point guard would. But I think he showed for all the places he was at, that he was a good passer, facilitating the ball to other players. Especially, you see it more in New York, where you didn't really know much of those other guys when they made that finals run, but he was getting them open shots and creating space for them and getting them the ball, and he got them there, but he just can't get the job done there. So.
You mean New Jersey?
Yeah, New Jersey. Well, I said New York.
Yeah, he said New York.
I didn't realize that. Yep, New Jersey, my bad. That's all I got for now.
All right. Well, that would lead us to Ray with just a little bit of a jump up at 28 overall, and he has him at number 4 on his point guard list. Ray?
All right. In a time where we had Stockton, Peyton, Mark Jackson, we also got Mr. Jason Kidd. Stockton was the textbook who could score. Mark Jackson was the textbook assist-first point guard. And then Peyton was the grit and grind, who was defense, score. Well, he was just a little bit of everything, but he was a little more shit talk and grind you down to the floor. Then we got Jason Kidd, who was up-tempo and exciting. I was watching some of the New Jersey Nets highlights, and I was getting pumped up. He was just that good and that exciting. He was such a floor general, making everyone on the team better, and he was such a magician, the way he could find you. I watched the highlights, and I felt bad for the defense because it was like someone coming up behind you, tapping you on the shoulder, then punching you in the face. His passing ability was just that phenomenal. He could score when he needed, and he also wasn't a bum on defense. He is second on the steals list. So if you've seen this man play, you know why he should be on this list, and for the things I just said, that's why he's on mine.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that would lead us to Wade, who has him 27 overall and 5 on his point guard list. But sadly, Wade is not here again. So that will jump us to me, who has him number 20 overall and number 4 on his point guard list. Here we go, guys. Up front, I'm going to make an admission to you guys. The other day, while getting ready for this episode, I stared at my list for a good 15 minutes, and I said, I have Jason Kidd too high on my list. And I was sitting there trying to figure out, why is Jason Kidd at number 20 on my list? Ahead of guys like Kevin Durant, Rick Barry, Dwayne Wade, West, the Admiral, Dr. J. Only thing I can come up with, guys, is I messed up. I have Jason Kidd too high on my list, and I'm not 100% sure why. But that being said, I do think Jason Kidd is a deserving member of our list. I'm not 100% sure where I should have put him because I didn't dig that far into it, but he is too high on my list. He's a 9-time all-defensive guy. He's a 5-time assist champ on top of the other things you guys have mentioned. And like Ray said, he's one of the most exciting players of my lifetime. The alley-oops, the 60-foot bounce passes. I watched him on multiple occasions throw bounce passes between defenders' legs, like where there was like 20 feet between Kidd and the defender. He put it between their legs, like just crazy things. He was also good for sailing a pass or two every game into the stands about 6 rows deep.
Yeah.
Which could also be exciting to watch guys like Kenyon Martin and Richard Jefferson try and jump as high as they possibly could to try and reach it and it go over the backboard. So Jason Kidd is one of the most exciting point guards of my lifetime, if not the most exciting point guard of my lifetime, to be honest with you. He's also the all-time rebounder for point guards. He's, as Uncle Doug mentioned, second all-time in assists and steals. When he retired, he was third all-time on the threes list. He's now 12th. He was not an efficient shooter, though he did improve over the course of his career. He was not a big-time shot taker, only averaging 11 shots a game for his career. Unlike other inefficient shooters like Westbrook, who averages 18 shot attempts a game, or Iverson, who averaged 21 shot attempts a game. That is my opening statement on Jason Kidd. So, that being said, we have me, Wade, and Ray, who have him pretty high in the top half of our point guard list. And then Drew and Doug have him a little bit later. So let's touch on our point guard list just for a second. We all have Magic 1.
Right.
Well, who's everybody got at number 2?
I got Kuzi.
I have Oscar.
I have Stockton.
I have Oscar.
Oscar, okay.
Yeah.
I do not have Oscar higher than Kidd. I think Oscar is 5 on my list, or Kidd is 4. And where's Oscar on your list, Ray?
32.
Is that 32? So he's
32 total. I don't know where he's at on the point guard list.
Yeah, you have Kidd at 28, so Kidd's ahead of Oscar as well. All right. And then who you guys got at 3?
I got Steph.
Let's see.
I bet Ray doesn't have Steph.
No.
Not in this lifetime, guys. So I got Kuzi, and then
I'll check Wade.
Steve Nash is at 3, followed by Kidd at 4.
I have Kidd higher than Nash.
Wade has Magic, and then he has Isaiah, then Steph at 3. Then he has Jason Kidd at 4, John Stockton right very next at 5, Chris Paul right next at 6.
All right, fair enough. I just wanted to give everybody a little bit of a picture of where we have Kidd. So there's like the 4 and 5 and 4 for the rest of us. So who are the next couple guys that Drew and Uncle Doug have in front of Kidd? Because you guys have him at 6 and 7.
I have Chris Paul and John Stockton.
Isaiah Thomas and John Stockton.
Well, I also have Isaiah ahead of Kidd. I have it's Magic, Stockton, Isaiah as the top 3 on my list. So they have the 3 of them I have ahead of Kidd. Well, does anybody have anything else to add before I go into rankings questions?
Well, just kind of some of my thinking on Stockton, Paul, and Kidd. I mean, to me, John Stockton is just an unbelievable point guard. And not that Jason Kidd's not, but Stockton just, a few more points, more assists. Now, Kidd does have a title on him, and he does have a title on Chris Paul.
Mm-hmm.
That is, everybody else ahead of him have titles, but then those two don't, and then we go to Kidd and down from there. So I had to kind of weigh that. Maybe Chris Paul and Jason Kidd. That was a tough one for me. Those two. I'm still holding out hope that Chris is going to get one.
Well, they're still on a win streak, aren't they?
Yeah.
They are.
So I kind of thought last year he might, but I won't ask Drew what he thinks about it.
Don't even go there.
I won't. So that was kind of, my thinking there. Just the points were a little better, even though Stockton and Paul haven't got titles yet. So.
Well, as our resident title defender, it was not a title as the best player on a team. Dirk was, that was the height of Dirk.
Mm-hmm.
That was a special performance by Dirk. I don't know that we've seen many playoff runs like Dirk had that year. That year was insane, what he did. I think there's an argument to be made that Kidd was probably the second best player on that team. But Kidd was not Jason Kidd anymore.
No.
During that run. So I think I don't give him quite the onus of where I give some of these other titles, I mean, at that point, he was a single-digit scorer, and, he ran the team, but it was more out of smarts and guile and experience, not the athletic, flashy, guy that he used to be. But I'm not trying to take the title away from him. Obviously, I do have Kidd pretty high on my list. But I think, sitting here trying to think about it on the fly, I think I would give serious consideration to putting CP3 ahead of Kidd at this point.
Okay.
Here's my big thing with Kidd, and I touched on it pre-recording. His inefficiency is drastic. I mean, we've talked about Russ and AI and Harden and guys like this and their inefficient shooting. Kidd shoots 40% from the field.
He wasn't a great shooter.
And I can't imagine, here's something for you. His first 2 seasons in the league, he shot 38% from the field. Not from three, from the field.
Ooh.
Then he shot 40% in a partial season, but then he went to 36% from the field.
What's Mark Jackson's shooting percentage?
Ooh, I have to look.
Ooh.
I want to know that.
I bet it's higher than this.
I just did not know Jason Kidd shot that bad.
Well, I mean, by the time you would have been able to watch him, Drew, he wasn't that bad of a shooter. At the end of his career, he had turned himself into a pretty decent shooter. Mark Jackson's field goal percentage is 44%.
Way to go, Mark.
That is true. Yeah, by the time I remember seeing him play, he was a lot better.
But that's my biggest knock on Kidd is his inefficiency, because he does a lot of what I want out of a point guard. He's not a big volume shooter. He's a pass first guy. He was a good defender that hounded the other team's point guard, and he came up with a lot of turnovers for you because he was quick hands and was a great guy with steals. Not only that, but I think it's pretty much fact at this point. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but guys went to play with Jason Kidd and got better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I remember the argument was when they traded Kidd away from Phoenix, right before they signed Nash, and they're like, "Oh, can Sean Marion be the same player because Jason Kidd made him?" Then he got to play with Steve Nash. It didn't matter.
Right.
But would Richard Jefferson and Kenyon Martin be household names without J. Kidd?
No. Hell
No.
no. Kenyon Martin would have been, bagging groceries probably. To be totally honest, because if you're not getting a pass to Kenyon Martin, then he's not making nothing for you anyway. Because he can't shoot. He's just pretty much, rebound and pass it out.
Oh, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember watching these teams play, those Nets teams, and Kenyon scored all. Kenyon was DeAndre Jordan. He scored all his points on lobs.
Oh
Yeah.
Kid was throwing moves, and he was dunking.
tough guy around the basket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now we're gonna play everybody's favorite game. What if? Uncle Doug, Ray, you guys should remember this.
Yeah.
Before J. Kidd signed his contract in New Jersey, he was courted and was reported as it was reported as a done deal, and I don't know what happened, but Kidd was signing with San Antonio to play with Duncan, and at the last second something changed and Kidd went to New Jersey instead. If he signs that contract and plays the next 10 years with Tim Duncan, what does Jason Kidd's career look like?
Wow.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Well, I think then you're looking at an even better version of Stockton and Malone.
Yeah.
Think what Stockton and Malone accomplished, and arguably Tim maybe not scoring as much as Malone was more all-around player,
Mm-hmm.
and Kidd was more athletic.
To say Jason
than
Kidd would be a lot better version than Tony Parker.
Yeah, I would agree.
You would have
yeah,
Kidd,
I
you
would
would have
he's better than
Kidd.
Tony Parker.
You just have Kidd instead of Parker in all those roles. So I think he would
I think
definitely.
that would have done wonders for
Mm-hmm.
Kidd's career. I mean, that would have been amazing.
And we're probably looking at Kidd having multiple titles.
Oh yeah,
I think
But
so.
again, not as the best player, but he still has multiple titles.
right.
At least those titles he'd been in his prime when they happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you could look at him more like a good player who played with another great player.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the Spurs were already winning titles during that time frame. So it's
Yeah,
not
before
like,
they had already won their first two previous to this because they won in 98 and
Yeah.
or not 98,
90, it would have been 99.
Jumped
yeah,
in
because the
there,
Bulls
yeah.
won 98. It would have been 99 and
What, 2002?
03?
yeah, or
3? Yeah.
yeah, something like that. And then that would have been right after that. It would have been Kidd
Right.
being free agent.
Well, Kidd just, like you said earlier, made people around him better. When I was looking at Kidd and Stockton, they both played 19 years in the league. And Kidd had his teams in the playoffs 17 of the 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
He only missed playoffs twice in his whole career. Now, Stockton was 19 for 19, but still, I mean, that's how many guys can. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Because he played on multiple teams, and some of those teams, some of those New Jersey teams that went to the NBA Finals.
Back-to-back years.
Yeah. I mean,
You're
Jason Kidd was good.
That first year, we can correct me if I'm wrong, but that first year he did the New Jersey team to the finals. You're looking at Jason Collins, Kenyon Martin, Richard Jefferson as like a rookie, I think.
yeah.
Kerry
Pretty
Kittles
Oh, yeah, Kerry Kittles.
Oh,
and Kidd. And then off the bench, you had like Todd McCullough and Keith Van Horn,
Oh, he came off the bench?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
And I don't even know. And then they upgraded for the second one and brought Mutombo in
Right.
Yeah.
to hold down the center position. But the rest of the crew was still the same. I mean,
Yeah.
when your second best player is either Richard Jefferson or Kenyon Martin, that doesn't sound like a title team. I'm not knocking them. They
Right,
were solid
yeah.
players,
They had
but they
solid
were not
careers.
second best player on a championship team
Right.
players. Especially RJ at that point in his career. RJ, later he became a 20-point per game scorer, but this is like his rookie and second year in the league.
Right, he's just getting started. Like I said, Kenyon Martin was just that kind of power forward you had back then that was just tough, rebound, play defense, You know,
I mean, we all remember the Birdman, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
From Miami.
Birdman.
That was Kenyon Martin before there was a Birdman.
yeah,
So
yep,
No, I mean, Kenny Martin was a serviceable player. Kenny Martin could have been the starting power forward on a title team.
oh yeah.
He just
wasn't going to be one of the top 1 or 2 players. though.
right. Yeah, he just shouldn't have been. He had to be too much of an offensive threat for New Jersey,
Right.
and that wasn't his game.
No.
He needed to be He could have been the anchor of your defense.
Right.
He could have been your leading rebounder.
yeah.
He could have been the most athletic player on your
Yes.
team because he was freaky athletic.
Yep.
Oh,
But he
yeah.
can't be one of your best scorers or even one of your top couple best players.
Right. And like you say, Jefferson was just getting started. He wasn't ready to take over that role. Kittles was a pretty good player.
Yeah, I like
Um,
Kittle back in the day.
Kerry Kittles again, solid role player,
Right.
did his job, but he can't
But-
help you lead championships.
Kid just elevated all of them.
Yes, he did.
Well, when you can see the impossible and pass through the impossible, I mean, that's helping the whole team out. And that's what Kid did. I mean, he just seen holes that weren't there, and then just somehow it made it happen.
Okay, so I've done what I've been doing since we started with the players that made everybody's list. I've got questions, and I'm going to start with Ray.
The litigation.
There you go. Alex's litigation corner. Question 1.
Here we go.
We need the little sound thing from Law and Order right there.
Bum, bum.
Yeah.
Ray, you have Jason Kidd ranked ahead of Charles Barkley. I'd like an explanation, please.
I just think he's a well-rounded player. I mean, we have Charles Barkley. I mean, power forward. Oh, wait. Let's see what it is.
Yeah, power forward.
Power
yeah.
forward. Rebound scorer. But, I mean, Kid could control the whole game. I mean, pretty much. Distribute, score, defense. He was the floor general. I mean, Charles Barkley, was good at his role, and I'm not knocking him for the position he was in, but at that time frame, it was either you were phenomenal or you was kind of sunk into a spot that you needed to be in, and Kidd kind of elevated his position maybe above Charles Barkley. I mean, at maybe the end of Barkley's career, I mean, he wasn't really Barkley anymore. Barkley was like Sixers and Suns, and
Yeah.
then after that, it was like we just got, I don't know what we had. But Kidd he distributed a ball like no other, and he just was a hell of a balanced player. So I had to put him above Charles Barkley.
Well, I'm gonna dig into this just a little bit. No doubt. I mean, you didn't argue it. Barkley's the better scorer of the two.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He averages 10 more points a game than Kidd over their career. No doubt. He's also the better rebounder, but that's to be expected. Power forward to point guard. He averaged 5 more rebounds a game than Kidd. Kidd averages 4 more assists than Barkley, because Barkley averaged 4 a game for his career, which is really nice for a power forward. Their steals are relatively the same, a couple tenths apart. Their turnovers are almost exactly the same. The other big disparity here is Barkley shot 14% better from the field. And Kidd did shoot better from 3. Again, kind of to be expected.
But if you take all the assists that Kidd had and distribute it around, I bet everybody else had a better field goal percentage averaged out, probably a little bit higher than Charles Barkley.
Honestly, I have no idea.
Right.
I have no idea. I guess what I'm asking you is if he's averaging 10 more points a game and he's averaging 4 more assists a game, is that the trade-off you're looking for?
I mean, Kidd was just a well-rounded player, and Barkley was the power forward of the time. He was what he was. I mean, that's what a power forward was rebound, and he did a little bit extra scoring, because back in those days it was just power forward, rebound, pass out. Barkley did a little bit extra, but Kidd helped his team out in a whole different kind of situation. Like, he controlled the game, he ran the floor, and that's what he did. Barkley was there to, that's my ball, this is my team, give me the ball and let me score. But
True.
that doesn't make him a better player or better the team.
Okay. My next question, Ray, is you have Kidd ranked ahead of Kevin Durant.
Yeah. Well, okay, so the reasoning behind the Kevin Durant thing is, like I've said on previous episodes, he hasn't shown me what he can do by himself. He showed me what he can do with Steph Curry and the godlike Warriors pretty much right now. At the time. And the Warriors are just kicking ass right now. It's fucking.
The Warriors are still playing good right now.
It's fucking psychotic. And then he leaves the Golden State and goes and teams up with another super team in New Jersey, but he hasn't shown me what he can do by himself. Jason Kidd has shown me what he can do on his own with like we've already talked about, a subpar, maybe mediocre team, and bring them to a higher level. Kevin Durant, the greatness that he is, I'm not knocking him. He's on my list. But Kevin Durant has got to show me something by himself that he can elevate a team that he hasn't shown me yet.
I will say this, Ray. You've been consistent in that argument, so I'm not going to even argue with you. I'm just going to say okay. And my last question for you, Ray, is you have Jason Kidd ranked ahead of John Stockton.
Okay. And I'm not going to get into that until next episode. But I will say this. The title did elevate Kidd just a little bit. So that's where I'll stop on that argument until next week.
Okay, fair enough. We can wait till next week because I do want to argue this one.
I kind of like it how they fell right next to each other. So, like,
yeah.
but it kind of hurts at the same time. Like, you want to talk about it now, like Kidd to Stockton, because on some of our lists they're right next to each other, but you don't want to give away too much this week.
That's true. That's true. All right, so I'll move to Uncle Doug.
All right.
Uncle Doug, you have Kidd ranked ahead of Nash. Would you like to explain?
With Steve, it's probably the title.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you think his title is worth more than his 2 MVPs? I have Kidd ranked ahead of Nash as well, so I'm not picking on you.
Right. No, I understand. I'm just if you look at, Nash scores a little bit more. Kidd rebounds quite a bit more. Kidd's a little bit more on assists.
We all know how we feel about Steve Nash's MVPs.
Well,
and Steve Nash is kind of a stiff on defense.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of where Nash was 8, Kidd 7. So they're there together. There was a lot of back and forth, but I do think I felt like Kidd elevated the team better. Defense definitely. And we won't talk about the MVP.
All right, fair enough. All right, now my next question is the usual suspect for you, Uncle Doug, Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, well, Kevin's going up. I don't know how high Kevin's going, but yeah.
This is his mess up in the list.
That's right. That is obviously my screw up. I don't know what I was thinking that day.
All right. Well, now I have a question for you, Uncle Doug, in the opposite direction.
Okay.
Why do you have Patrick Ewing ahead of Jason Kidd?
Well, I was just looking at that. I would imagine obviously Ewing didn't get a title either. Sorry, I'm trying to go to my numbers here. I think it's because of the points and rebounds. Oh, there he is. Yeah, with he's got like 8 more points a game. Of course, 3 more rebounds. Of course, quite a few. 7 less assists. Kid's got more all defense, but I just went with the numbers on that.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. All right, Drew. I've got you in my crosshairs now.
I think I guessed one of the ones. Can I guess what I think you're gonna say?
Sure.
I was looking at it, and I have Dirk underneath Jason Kidd by one spot. Is that who you're?
Yep, that's the first one.
Alright.
I'd ask that question too.
Well, now that I'm looking at it, I can see what I was thinking. Well, their title came in the same year. They were on the same team. Obviously, Dirk was the better player then. Dirk does have an MVP over Jason Kidd, but I think what I was thinking was Dirk does score 8 more points, but Jason Kidd's only 1 rebound behind him as a point guard, and then he obviously out-assists him by 6. So if you take Jason Kidd has 6 more assists and Dirk only has 8 more points, I think I was thinking there that could counteract. I think, and Jason Kidd I think plays a lot better defense than what Dirk was able to do. So I think that's why I have Kidd above Dirk. And it's just one spot. Dirk's lower than the next guy, so it's not like I have him way higher. I think that's why I have Kidd above Dirk.
Okay. I'll accept your reason. I don't agree with it, but I'll accept it. Now let's go the other direction.
Okay.
Why do you have Anthony Davis ahead of Jason Kidd?
Yeah, I want to hear this one.
Ooh. Yeah, I did not know that one. I gotta look at this more often, so I'm ready for this. Let me pull up AD stuff so I can see. I think it's probably gonna be the same reason as I said for Scotty last week. It's because of what he's done now, and he hasn't had his downfall yet.
Well, I'll give you some stuff here. It looks like Davis has 11 more points.
Yes.
4 more rebounds. 6 less assists. Their steals are comparable. Obviously, Davis has more blocks. Davis shoots a better percentage from the field, while Kidd shoots a better percentage from 3, and they shoot a very close percentage from the free throw line.
And they both have their title.
They both have a title, yes.
And I think they're pretty similar. I think defensive. I think Anthony Davis, when he's healthy, he gets on the all-defensive team. I think as long as he's healthy for the whole season, so I think he plays good defense.
He's 4-time all-defense.
All right, yeah.
But what has Anthony Davis done now? Because they sure haven't been winning.
Oh no, he hasn't.
Lakers are a mess right now.
They're playing the Pacers tonight. I sure hope the Pacers whip that ass.
Davis isn't playing tonight.
Yeah, Davis not.
He's
playing
got a fever.
A fever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
LeBron's back though.
I'm saying this day and age, if you've got a fever, they don't let you out of the house.
Oh, I'm telling you, yeah.
That's
yeah,
true.
Michael Jordan's flu game would never happen.
Yeah,
nowadays.
that's right. Yeah, Michael Jordan, they wouldn't have let him in the arena.
So can I make a what would we call it here? A prediction, a statement here that people may not agree with?
Sure.
That going to play with LeBron could ruin Anthony Davis's career?
At first, I thought this is going to help him. This year,
it looks bad now.
Not looking good.
Looks terrible.
Not only does it look bad, but let me say this. I think Anthony Davis is taking a page out of LeBron's book and playing less, which Davis wasn't exactly a play all the time guy anyway.
Right.
You see him being lackadaisical on defense a lot more. You see, well, I don't know. I want to say a lot more. You see it because the LA's on TV all the time. When he was in New Orleans, I didn't see him all the time.
Right.
So maybe he did this then too. I don't know. But these are all things LeBron preaches to his teams. Like, we have to be ready for the playoffs. We don't need to play hard throughout the regular season, blah, blah, blah. Well, Anthony Davis is young enough in his career. I mean, because that was part of the argument that Ray and I had when he hadn't played enough.
Right.
Well, if you're sitting out more games and resting more and coasting more and not making all defensive teams and not making all NBA teams and these things, unless they rack up and win a couple more titles here, this could hurt his legacy.
Right. I want to see what he does when LeBron leaves.
Yeah.
Because I figure LeBron's got, another year or two?
Yeah.
He wants to play with Bronny.
Right.
He's playing until he plays with Bronny, until he passes Kareem on the all-time scoring list. Then he'll be done.
So he's got, one more year on his Laker contract, and then they'll see what
He signed an extension.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Didn't
So
know
I think he's got 3 more.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Well, they've messed up the roster already.
Anthony Davis got bad mentorship already.
Well, here's the other thing, guys, is you can't be losing games with Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook on the floor.
Right.
Regardless of whether LeBron. I just saw multiple people last night on Twitter try and tell me that the Lakers just aren't talented enough without LeBron to be winning games. You have 2 first-ballot Hall of Famers on your team. What are you talking about?
They should be.
Well, they have more than that, but the rest of them are old. Like, Melo's a first-ballot Hall of Famer,
Right.
but he's not Melo anymore. Although he is having a nice season, by the way. Oh yeah, Dwight too.
Howard.
Yeah, Dwight
Yeah.
Howard's there as well. I forgot about
Right.
that. But they okay. Like 10 games into the season, the Oklahoma City Thunder were 2-8, and their only 2 wins came against the Lakers.
Right.
Yeah, they're the worst team in basketball, and they've beat the Lakers twice.
Right. Yeah, the Lakers are what, 9-10, something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say 8 and 10, but yeah, maybe. I mean, that's
It might be 9 and 8.
well. They lost last night because I watched that game.
Right,
They
they're
lost to New
500.
York. But
It's just horrible.
They are. They're not playing. I mean, I've watched them a time or two, and it's like,
That's
ugh.
awful. Yeah.
like, I'm not trying to say Westbrook is LeBron. That's not what I'm trying to say here. So I'm not trying to put words. No, people put words in my mouth. But why can't Westbrook fill the LeBron role while LeBron's out? I'm saying be the
Right.
ball handler. Run the pick and roll with Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
And win basketball games against bad basketball teams. I'm not asking you to beat New Jersey and the Warriors and stuff. That if you lose those games without LeBron, so be it.
Right.
But you should beat the Thunder. You should beat the Magic.
Yep.
You should beat Detroit. You should beat all these bad teams. Whoop them.
Well, and I think they lost a lot with some of the players they let leave, and they brought in other players that aren't really meshing with them all yet. I really hated to see, KCP and Caruso just were kind of held things together. And LeBron really liked both those guys. I was surprised he let the team get rid of them. I think it was all money, but and I'm happy for them getting their money. But I would have liked to see them stay.
Well, the big thing is you let LeBron run the team.
Right.
2, you got Frank Vogel as a coach, which he's not really a fucking coach in any way, shape, or form. And then 3, you have 8 egos on the team, which have all been major players on, 8
Right.
different teams. So, I mean, you can't mesh this team together with Westbrook, Carmelo, LeBron, Anthony Davis. They're all got their own egos, and they're all number 1 guys. So you can't do that.
Right.
It's not going to work that way.
You've got to have those hungry, hard-working guys that bond the team or glue the team together.
Yeah.
I looked it up. The Lakers are 9 and 10. You were
Okay.
correct.
I was close.
But that being said, guys, what they're really missing is a guy that can play guard that is not a complete turnstile on defense.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook is an absolute positive and negative on the defensive end of the floor and has
Right.
been for years.
Yep.
He's a terrible, terrible defender. And off the ball, he's even worse because he doesn't pay attention and gets backdoored and cut on all the time. That being said,
And captain turnover, he's the worst turnover person of all time.
yeah, his turnovers are ridiculous again this year. He doesn't even have the ball half the time.
Right.
But that being said, I'm not even trying to pick on Westbrook. I'm just talking about their team defense. They're so bad on perimeter defense that Vogel has them playing a zone a lot.
Yeah.
I've watched quite a few Lakers games. They play a lot of zone, a 3-2 zone, to try and cover up some of their perimeter deficiencies. But here's the terrible part about it. You have Anthony Davis, shot blocker, all defensive team guy. And the 2 centers are Dwight Howard and DeAndre Jordan. That's all they do is block shots and play defense. Okay? That means as a perimeter defender, you don't have to worry as much about getting blown by.
Right.
You can get up in guys' shorts. You can stick it to them. You can play physically at the point of attack. You can do all those things. And if somebody blows by you, as long as you continue to trail defense, you're shooting them. You're shoving them right into shot blockers. Elite shot blocking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why they can't be at least decent on their perimeter defense.
I know. I think the guards are a mess.
And you're watching Caruso lead the league in steals and play on a really good Bulls team.
I know, it's really pissing me off.
You're watching not just Caldwell Pope, but Kuzma and Harrell play really, really well for Washington, who is one of the best records in the East.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really surprised me. Washington.
Harrell's the second leading scorer on that team.
Yeah.
Is Rondo injured? What's going on with Rondo?
He was in uniform the other
He
night.
didn't play much of the playoffs.
Oh.
You know,
But you can't-
that's kind of become his role.
Well, we can't do that when you're 9-10.
Not only
Yeah.
that, but Rondo, where's his ball handling and running the team come in when you have Westbrook and LeBron?
Right.
Because they're trying to stagger Westbrook and LeBron's minutes so that they can both have a chance to handle the ball. Then there's there's no time for Rondo. Yeah.
See, at this point, I'd almost put Anthony Davis on the bench with Westbrook and put in, Howard and DeAndre and have Rondo run the point, and then you got a strong fucking starting five, and then you can run the bench with, Anthony Davis and Westbrook, and then you just fucking lob City at the whole second unit.
They
But
need to do something.
they can't do that because the ego is too high, so you can't play that game.
I'll say they got to do something.
Then they went out and got Nunn and Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn and Malik Monk as guards, who are young, athletic guys that, for other teams, I'd be like, hey, this is a nice pickup. But what are they? Oh, they're scorers. And scorers can't play with LeBron.
No.
So why bring them in? Now, maybe if you want to, when LeBron goes to the bench, you're thinking, oh, hey, I can put these guys in and they can score. No, because then now you're feeding the ball to Russ.
Right.
To get Russ his touches.
Yeah. Signing Russ was a mistake.
It was. It was a total mistake.
Oh, yeah.
And here's my thing. Everybody's like, well, before the deadline, they're going to have to trade Russ. I don't disagree, but who wants him?
Right. That's the
Nobody.
thing. I would love to see us do that, but who are we going to dump him on?
Because not only is he hurting his worth, but he's making over $40 million a year.
Right.
So it's like, who's trading you for Russell Westbrook? And Russ will throw a temper tantrum if he goes somewhere that's not a contender.
Right.
So it's not like you can just trade him to a bad team that wants to sell tickets.
Yeah.
So then you're kind of like, oh, man, like, what do you do with Russ? So now maybe you're stuck with Russ, which, as a guy that's tired of, the LeBron thing and all that stuff, hey, maybe them losing early in the playoffs again, I'm not going to be mad about that, but I don't know.
You almost want to say the Nets, but why the fuck would the Nets want Russell Westbrook,
Durant's not going for that.
Yeah.
Durant's not going for that.
Nope. That ain't going to happen.
No.
Durant does not want him.
No.
All right, guys, we can talk about Jason Kidd some more.
Yep.
Well, that was all of my questions about Charles' list. Does anybody have any to throw back at me about my list?
Let me look real quick.
All right.
Well, while you're looking that up, Drew, we'll talk a little bit about the MVPs. Kidd was second in 01-02, averaged 14.7 points, 7.3 rebounds, 9.9 assists, and 2.1 steals. Came in second to Duncan, who was 25-5, 12-7, 3.7 assists, and 2.5 blocks. Duncan had quite a year. Shaq came in third, 27.2 and 10.7, and he averaged 2 blocks a game. The other time Kidd was up there he was fifth in 98-99. That year, Karl Malone won, averaging 23.8 and 9.4, which actually Kidd probably had maybe a little better year in 98-99. He averaged 16.9, 6.8 rebounds, 10.8 assists, and 2.3 steals.
Wow.
But he finished farther down. Malone was 1 that year, Alonzo Mourning 2, Tim Duncan 3, and AI 4.
I always put on my sheet over here what I think is the best year statistically of their careers, and I have 98-99 down for Jason Kidd as his best statistical
That was
year.
his highest assist average at 10.8. And
Yeah, and he was a little bit more efficient that season. He shot 44% from the field, 36 from 3, 75 from the free throw line. It wasn't one of those really down percentage years for him.
so
All right, I think I'll I'm gonna ask you a question first.
Fair
For the
enough.
ones that you said earlier about Jason Kidd being higher, was Kevin Durant one of them? Why?
I asked.
I know, but I'm talking about like you
Yeah.
said at the very beginning of the episode. A couple
Oh, when I
times.
listed the guys, yeah,
Yeah.
I listed Durant, Barry, Wade, West, Admiral, and Dr. J is some of the ones I had him ranked ahead of. I didn't know why.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I know it makes it a little tougher to ask me these questions when I told them myself at the beginning of the
I want
episode.
to check before I ask. I don't want to. When you kind of touched on Chris Paul, why do you have Kidd ahead of Elgin Baylor? Since he was kind of in the same period, because you have. Yeah, let's just go with Elgin.
Honestly, I don't know off the top of my head. Maybe it won't be. But I would guess title and time period.
Yep.
You know, that's what I would guess.
I don't think there's anyone in front of that.
I mean, Jason Kidd is like as big as Elgin Baylor.
Yeah,
Think
it
about
really
that.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of weird to
Yeah.
think about.
I think that's all that I could find. That's like really.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see if I can ask.
Ray wants to get me.
Ray wants to jump in there.
Let's see, Jason Kidd at 20. Why above Dwayne Wade?
Well, he is one of the guys that I listed earlier that I thought said was a mistake.
Okay. Let me go down here. Give me answer for McHale.
He's ranked ahead of McHale.
Okay. Well, why did you put him ahead of McHale? Let me ask that one.
I don't know.
It's hard when you're not on the same category.
Yeah,
It
it
does
is.
make
It
it
really
tough.
is.
That is a tough thing, and I know when we did these lists, that was tough. You know, it was pretty good doing all point guards, all shooting guards.
Yeah.
They
But
play the
then when
same
you start
position.
mixing, then it's like, okay, this guy scored more, but he should have scored more, or this guy rebounded more, but he should have, or more assists.
Yeah.
You know, those questions are really tough.
I'm not sure, Ray. I really don't. Kid, I screwed up with Kid. Like
It's okay.
No, I'm not mad. I'm just saying, like I did. I made a mistake. I ranked Kid too high. And I'm not 100% sure where I would put him. I think I said that earlier. But I'm gonna guess Kid drops probably 10-ish spots,
So about 31
maybe.
by Patrick Ewing, Elgin Baylor.
Could be.
Okay.
Right in there with 36, 37, like Drew and I.
It could be.
Yeah.
What did Wade have him?
27.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So yeah, if you fall someplace between us and Wade, yeah,
that works.
How about Clyde Drexler? Why'd you have him above Clyde Drexler?
That's a good question, Ray. I mean, they both have the title. They both took a couple less skilled teams to the finals. They're both good rebounders for guards. Obviously, Drexler was a much better scorer. Probably just the awards. I mean, the 9-time All-Defense really stands out to me. Kid was a good defender. Not that Drexler was a bad defender, mind you.
Right.
The Rookie of the Year, the 5-time assist champ. You know, all those things probably, I would assume. But I'm not 100% sure either.
Okay. And the last question, why above Bob Pettit?
Oh, he'll stay there. He'll stay.
Whoa. My questions are over.
There we go.
Whoa.
All right. Well, shall we give our closing statements and all
Yeah.
J Kid?
Yeah. Then I'll say my TikTok after our closing statements.
All right. Well, we'll go reverse this time, and I'll start. I do think Kid is an all-time great point guard. I do believe he deserves to be on all of our lists. He will not leave my list. He will not come close to leaving my list. But I do think I ranked him a little too high, and I'm going to have to rethink Jason Kidd's position on my list when we reshuffle these at the end. But he was one of the best and most exciting passers I've ever seen play basketball. And I will remember J-Kid fondly. So that is my closing statement, and that will lead us to Ray.
Like I said before, such a phenomenal passer, well-balanced player. I'll piggyback on Alex. At the end of this thing, he's probably going to go above Steve Nash on the reshuffle. I mean, the title just, puts him up just a little bit more. Nash was, a good point guard, but I don't know what was going on. But Jason Kidd is such a well-balanced player that he's going to go one step above Steve Nash. So, I mean, I can't say anything crazy about how much greater Jason Kidd is, but he's such a great player that he's got to be just a little top tier above certain people, and I got to put him above Steve Nash.
Drew?
I think with Jason Kidd, we're starting to get to not the end of it, but I think we're starting to get to some of the more top tier guys on our list. We're not necessarily at the bottom of all of our lists anymore. Obviously, all of us have these players now, but I think we're starting to get to more of the elite company. We're taking more accolades in the account for people, and I think we're going to start seeing better and better players as we go through the next couple of weeks. I think Jason Kidd's a great all-around point guard, all the way around. He does it all, I think, honestly, and getting the title late, which he did get one. It's late, but I still think it helps boost him up over some of the other people in the point guard position.
Fair enough. And Uncle Doug?
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with where I've got Jason. He is definitely a great point guard. He falls in with the other great ones like Stockton, Nash, Chris Paul. He fits in that group that are right there together, just maybe a step below Magic.
Yeah.
But, there was, and when you think about it, there was a whole group of phenomenal point guards that came through similar. I mean, the careers didn't totally overlap, but you think about Nash and Kidd and Stockton and then, Chris Paul now and some of these guys.
Gary Payton.
Yeah, Payton. There's some great point guards out there. So, yeah.
All right. Well, that will end our Jason Kidd portion of this episode. And before we go to trivia, Drew has a TikTok.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this for
we haven't had
8 weeks.
TikTok for a while.
I saw on TikTok 4 American presidents have been on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Really?
Yeah. The 4 are John F. Kennedy, Gerald Ford, Ronald Reagan twice, and Bill Clinton.
Wow, Gerald Ford.
Well, Gerald Ford played football for Michigan.
Okay.
Of course, John F. Kennedy was a sailor and did a lot of stuff like that. He was very athletic. Reagan...
A lot of movies.
Reagan was holding up the American...
It probably had something to do with the Olympics, maybe. Or...
He's holding some type
He's
of
holding
trophy.
some big trophy with some player. I don't know. Kennedy's on the cover with his wife on a boat, like you said.
Yeah, I figured.
Reagan's on there with Georgetown Patrick Ewing.
Okay.
Bill Clinton's on there talking about Arkansas basketball.
Right, Arkansas
there
did
we
win a
go.
national
Yep.
title in basketball.
Gerald Ford's just him. Just his picture of his face.
It just says my view of sports.
Yeah, I think Ford was actually like an offensive lineman from Michigan or something way back in the day.
Gerald Ford just reminds me of Beverly Hills Cop 2 when they go in that strip club.
Yeah.
And they got Taggart in there.
Yeah, that's
That
right.
just cracks me up. Or was no, it was the first one. I take that back. It was Beverly Hills Cop 1, and it's in a strip club, and they talk about. No, it was the second one. My bad. Yeah, they're in the strip club, and they're like, yeah, I'm Gerald Ford and whatever, and they're all clapping, and shit just cracking me up.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into trivia.
I got my question.
I figured.
All right. Just the basketball. It and another sport are made from the same material. What's the other sport?
Repeat that, please.
So basketball and
Another sport's ball is
are
made out of the same
material.
What other sport is it?
Huh. Okay.
Does women's basketball count?
No. I'm not gonna trick question you guys like that.
What's the material?
I don't know.
Okay. So we're gonna go blind here on the guesses.
Huh.
Okay, I'm gonna go with this
Wow.
because I think this is what it is.
all right, I got to guess.
I don't even know.
What a generic question, Drew. But good one, because you're gonna
Hey,
stump
I'm gonna
everybody
screw this
here.
up and feel bad. All right, I got an answer.
All right, let's see him.
I said volleyball.
So did I.
About Ray.
Football,
It's rugby.
rugby.
I almost said rugby just because it's
Yeah.
obscure.
But you don't know the material.
No, it doesn't say the material. It just
It's
says
probably the type of leather. Because
Okay.
like footballs are made out of cowhide, basketballs are probably made out of some other kind of leather.
All right.
But that's
All right, who would like to go next?
I'll go ahead.
all right.
Let's see. Who was known as the microwave?
I know this.
Okay, good. I'll give you all gimme this week, I guess.
I don't know who the microwave is, so we're gonna be honest.
It's called Samsung.
The microwave.
I'm not gonna get it.
LG.
I know,
LG.
but
LG. Yeah, I probably know it when you say it, but
I doubt it, but we'll go with that.
Yeah, you may not.
This is an 80s question.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna guess this just because I have no idea.
Okay, good call.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, go ahead.
Tom Chambers.
I said Vinny the Microwave Johnson.
I said Vinny Johnson.
That is correct. It is
Yeah.
Vinny Johnson.
Never heard of the guy.
I was sure of the Vinny, and I'm thinking, is it Johnson or?
There's a bad boy for us.
That's right. Yep. Played for the Pistons.
Apparently.
Instant offense, Drew. When he hit the floor, he just either couldn't hit anything and they'd take him right back out, or he'd light him up.
Okay.
Okay, I guess it's my turn.
Yep.
All right, 94 draft class. That was Jason Kidd. He was number 2
Oh boy.
in the draft class. Name 1 and 3,
1 and 3.
either side of him.
So we need to name both, right? Correct.
All right,
Can I
I'm
get a-
Doug. Sorry, I was out of a pen and I couldn't keep track of the score, so I've
sorry.
been keep track of trying to get that figured out. Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, 94 draft class.
Yep.
Jason Kidd.
Yep.
He was drafted number 2.
Okay.
Name 1 and 3.
Mm.
All right.
And I will tell you that Danielle Marshall was 4 and Juwan Howard was 5.
That doesn't help me at all.
Well, I'm not trying to help you.
I know.
I'm just giving you trivia.
Yeah.
Huh.
94, 95.
Damn.
I'm just gonna try to think of a player who was a rookie during that time period.
Oh, my
Probably not
gosh.
right, but.
I'm taking a risky guess here.
Man,
have no
I
idea.
got one really fast, and I'm completely drawing a blank on the second one.
I can think of someone who's drafted him, but I know it's not right. But I got it.
We'll see what happens.
There's no way. But it's whatever.
See if NBA Jam plays into it. My knowledge here.
NBA Jam.
NBA
All right,
Jam.
I'm just writing somebody down because I don't know the second player.
All right, what you guys got?
Okay, I got Jamal Mashburn at 1 and Jalen Rose at 3.
Leitner and Hill.
I said Penny and Big Shot Bob.
Okay. Grant Hill was number 3. He
Yeah.
went behind Kidd.
Okay.
Number 1 was Glenn Robinson.
Oh, okay.
Damn it. No, because Hill and Kidd were co-rookie of the years.
Yeah.
I knew
Okay.
I knew Hill was there. I just couldn't remember the other one.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw it was Robinson. I'm like, huh? Grant Hill and Jason Kidd both? He was drafted ahead of him.
All right, so that leads us to my question, right?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, let's put this board away and ask you guys a cool question. All right. Of current players, LeBron James has the most consecutive games scoring in double digits with 1,048. Can you name 2 of the next 3?
Of current players?
Current players.
Okay.
So I want number 2, number 3, number 4, 2 of the 3 of them.
Yeah.
And
Okay, I got a couple.
all right.
I said Durant.
Whoa.
Sorry.
You're lucky.
Durant.
You're lucky. I got Durant. You're lucky. All the people I'm thinking of, I know they haven't been playing for that long. Okay, we'll just go with this. And alright, I'm ready.
I said Durant and Curry.
Okay.
Then I had down 3 selections: Lillard, Jokic, and Luka.
Oh, I said KD, AD, and Steph.
Well, the only one of you to get one correct is Ray with Luka.
Oh.
He's number 4.
Wow.
Number 2 is Kawhi Leonard.
See, I thought about Kawhi. I was like,
Kawhi Leonard.
That.
And number 3 is Zach LaVine.
What?
Really?
Dude, listen to this. You go from LeBron at 1,048 to Kawhi Leonard at 175, Zach LaVine at 121, and Luka Doncic at 116.
Holy cow.
that really surprised me. KD's not on there. What the?
He must have
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard?
laid some stinkers
Well,
periodically.
but,
I guess you got to play to keep it going, I guess.
yeah. I said, I bet Wade
Son of
would
a
have got it.
bitch.
He'd have been all over us.
I thought I was like, no. He had one of the times when he came back from his injury, he probably dropped an egg. No, yes, not.
Well, you think about it, though. You'd think that list would be huge because 10 points isn't that
Right.
much. You're not
Yeah.
asking that
Not for an
a time to
NBA
have
player.
double digits. Yeah, like,
Yeah, for sure.
But
Right.
I bet them big stars lay them goose eggs. Like I bet Lillard laid a goose egg at least 2 out of the 3. You know, 2 out
or
of
it
3
could be
times.
one of those things where you start the game, you roll your ankle, you leave,
Right.
don't come back. You
Oh,
get
I
6
bet.
points.
I bet KD was in that one finals when he tore his Achilles, because it's right at the beginning of the game when it rolls up before he got to 10. I bet.
I mean, it could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Freak
could be
accident shit, I
anything.
guess.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yeah, who knows? Well, after the new tallies, the scores are as follows.
Oh God.
Ray with 18. Drew with 37. Uncle Doug with 39. Alex with 44. And Wade with 49. Wade's lead was cut into tonight.
Yeah.
Poor Wade.
I don't pour Wade anymore. So we appreciate you tuning in and listen to our Jason Kidd episode. And please tune in next week to listen to our John Stockton episode where Ray and I will argue because he already told me he would.
I will.
And we appreciate your
I
listening
will.
to Sports the NEMO Way.